I'm fond of a theme for a chat. I like to know what I'm talking about. So this little, whatever it is called sort of my own special creation. I am what that. I've seen you, she said, pointing rudely.
Yeah.
You did a blindingly brilliant show as you.
Oh, thank you.
But that's the, other than that,
yeah,
you've been a deeply unpleasant, I mean, well, obviously taken from life, but a deeply unpleasant little Frenchman.
Well, medium size.
Okay. And I saw you 100 years ago when you used to do loads of characters in a show. And now, is Troy Hawke it?
Yeah, for now, at the moment, yeah.
Because he's so monstrously successful.
Well, it's not really that. I mean, I guess that's a thing that's sort of relatively new. It's more that I could write more when I was doing Troy. For other characters.
Really?
Yeah, for other characters, I'd get to a certain point where I wouldn't be able to create any more interesting ideas or whatever. But when I was writing as Troy, writing for Troy, however you put it, the ideas keep coming. It just feels a bit more fleshed out and a bit more easy.
So you have a hugely well-developed inner Troy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That really doesn't say anything very good about you, though, does it? Because he's a bit of an arse.
He's a gent.
I don't know about that. In what way would you say he was an arse? I'm interested to get your take on it.
Well, I feel I'd probably be more naturally drawn to Mad Ron.
Right.
Because I'm a fan of honesty.
Yeah.
And you just feel that, cut the crap, Troy.
I'm going to step in here. I think part of being a character comedian allows you to be more authentic as a performer, because you almost have a safety zone where you can put across things that you wouldn't necessarily feel comfortable owning. So if you're talking about honesty, I would disagree, especially with Troy, because I think with Troy I can be very authentic and have very authentic
I didn't mean the
interactions
character,
with
I
people.
just meant the smile and the...
No, that's real, that's positivity. You can be positive and it not be bullshit, It's possible. It's a thing.
No, I'm not
honestly.
understanding that.
Fair enough.
So, as Marcel, is all of that coming from a place of truth?
Well, it's probably a cathartic thing for me. A lot of people have said, who've only ever seen me do Marcel and then met me in real life, or someone who might have seen that show that you saw. It was an immensely positive show about travel and how I met my wife and and life and the positivities of life. A lot of people suggested to me that it is a catharsis every night, purging the sort of inner demons and purging the... I don't think I have many inner demons, but I
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Because I've been doing it for years.
Yeah.
But
they're all out there with a French accent.
But it's fun to be an arsehole, and it's the things that I'm not allowed to, to be in life. And it's fun to personify that character, especially in Britain, of a character that people love to hate.
Yes.
So, and the parameters are there as well. Like you were saying, you can sort of... You go down a certain path, and the truth is there are people that exist. I've had so many people that said, I live with a Marcel, I've divorced a Marcel, that's the most common one, or I've worked with a Marcel, and people know these sort of characters. And both of us sort of improvise quite a lot in character as well, and the joy of that is that you know what route you're going to go down. When I improvise as me, I find it way harder than doing it as Marcel. You've set the boundaries and the limits in the character.
And these guys have been Milo's been different people for age. How long has Troy been your main?
Troy's been my main. I've been going steady with Troy.
Going steady with Troy?
Probably since about 2015, so it's like 7 years.
Yeah, and Marcel was born...
2009 was my first Marcel show, it's a long time.
Now, as I've already slightly blotted my copybook with this gentleman because I thought this was all clever prosthetics and great makeup. But apparently this is what he actually looks like, so I'm so sorry.
No problem.
Did the way you look have anything to do with creating a character of Mad Ron?
Absolutely. I wrote some material in a writing class back in 2015, and somebody said, that'd be good as a character. And then, because everyone takes the mick out of me for looking like Phil Mitchell.
Phil Mitchell, that was... The cliches are out there, but
I just did a Phil Mitchell impression, and it kind of...
Go on, give us a Phil Mitchell impression.
Well, I I'll tell you what, kids today don't know that they're born, do they?
He is, but he's more dangerous, more threatening than Phil.
Yeah, there's hints. Basically,
Of madness, apparently, according to the name.
What I found interesting with the character is when it first started, anything about what the character had done historically would shut an audience down completely. But what they did find interesting was that guy's opinions on stuff. So the character's kind of evolved over the first kind of 18 months to write about life and how things were and how things are not very good these days. And
Putting it mildly. And you've been working together.
Yeah, I've been directing Steve, and not as Marcel, that would be horrendous. Counterproductive.
Dreadful. What are you doing? It's not funny.
Philippe
Go on,
Collier.
yeah.
But what I like about what Steve does is actually he takes it away from what you might expect that character to say or do.
Right.
That's the joy of it for me, is the slight incongruity of sort of what you're hearing come out of.
Interesting what you said about nobody's, or audiences aren't interested in a backstory. What they want is the kind of cartoonish edge of, oh my God, I know somebody that says appalling things like that. But Marcel, does he have a fascinating or arguably tragic backstory?
I started writing a backstory for the first show, and I did do an autobiography for those first two shows, and and it was only afterwards that I started to read up on the history of Serge Gainsbourg and the parallels of what I'd written, like how he lost his virginity as a teenager thanks to his father, shoving him in the way of a prostitute and sort of going, there you go, sort that out. And there were so many little parallels to Serge Gainsbourg. There was a bit of Sartre thrown in there as well. When I started to sort of read more about these characters, it's like, oh, actually, I've sort of nailed this.
Yeah.
I've got this right. And it was loosely based on those characters, on Sartre and on Gainsbourg and on a lot of French men.
Now, you see, already, that's not funny. You know, the backstory of a comedy character, well, it's based on Sartre and Gainsbourg.
Yeah.
You're losing laughs there.
But I don't, sorry to step in, I don't know if it's necessarily about the laughs with the backstory as it is creating something in your mind that's four-dimensional. So that if you've got the psychological makeup of your character based on their history and how they've interacted with the world and everything, if you've got that fully formed in your head, you don't say that on the stage, but it gives you an extra level when you are on the stage.
Which is not said.
Yeah.
But also you do get a certain pass as a character to not necessarily have to be gag all the time.
Yes.
People want the layers sometimes, and people actually want a bit of humanity in there and a bit of...
and also they get, I think, probably with each of you, the funny voice. In its broadest, widest sense.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything you say is a bit funny because you're doing it in a funny voice.
Yeah.
And with the visual thing, obviously, we're getting the whole visual thing here, but you look slightly different as Troy.
Yeah, very.
A lot of crushed velvet involved.
Yes, very, very different. But it's interesting with the jokes, is like, you do write jokes, it's just you write them from a different viewpoint. And I don't know how you found it. You find it.
Definitely.
But the further along you go and the more sure of the viewpoint you go, it's kind of like the easier the jokes start to
Definitely.
come. It's a lot more difficult in the beginning. And then trial and error and just going into places and testing it and getting more comfortable. It's like it's really hard to talk about. It's about sounding wanky. But it's like the character sort of...
We've had an entire discussion about wanking.
But the character sort of evolves and becomes a bit more real because...
It's
do you know
like
what I mean?
people who... It doesn't happen so much more now, but people who used to write jokes for Bob Hope, they know how Bob Hope sounds, they know
that's it.
They know what Bob Hope's audience likes. So this is a Bob Hope joke.
That's it.
And the fun thing about doing Marcel is, because I do the comedy circuit a hell of a lot as well, and so having got a few Edinburghs under my belt, you realise that people who regularly come and see you in Edinburgh want more of the same, i.e. more of an arsehole, more alcoholic, more dark and more... And they want you to push it further every time they see you. And then you have to go back onto the circuit, and I've done this a couple of times, going, oh, that's a bit much, I've got to ease you in again, haven't I?
Now, talking of alcohol, I've always... And I was... one of the most impressive things about you was when I discovered you do actually drink red wine on stage. Actual, real, alcoholic... I mean, that's huge. commitment to character.
In the early days of Marcel, I would try and get through a whole bottle of wine and a wheel of camembert before I realised that was absolutely not viable health-wise. I wouldn't be here talking to you today if that was.
Do you have a pint? I'm thinking in cliches now, but do you have a pint on stage?
No, don't have a pint.
Of course, you probably glass somebody. It'd be.
Well,
Now that would be a big finish. You know, just finish the pint.
Turn around, beg beer.
I think it's hints of a dark background is the way forward.
Right.
You kind of do the material and just hint at the dark background, just move on and carry on.
Because it is that thing. I was a lawyer a long time ago, and with criminal practice, and they always said, if someone's making a lot of noise and whatnot, they're not a problem. Someone's quiet.
Yeah.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
That's it.
And it is just kind of, I don't think you want to do that.
But I think with Ron, actually, the fascinating thing is you actually start. He's very persuasive, not just with the physicality, but I think you start. It's very well written as well. You start buying into his world, and you start actually kind of go, oh yeah, that's reasonable.
Did Ron vote Brexit? Obviously.
No, I don't think he did. No.
Why not?
I just think. I think the obvious thing would be for him to vote Brexit.
Yeah.
But
I see.
For the less obvious, then you'd find a convoluted reason for him not to have voted Brexit. I think that's the right process.
Yeah.
I think for all of us.
Yeah.
You'd find the obvious, find what's the opposite, and then try and go down that track of...
Where's the fun in
that? Where's the fun in him being different to everybody else in that world? Yeah.
So you've done lots of acting. I mean, acting, not that being a character isn't an act, but I saw you do a play with your dad.
Yeah, that was it wasn't really, that was more like sort of character stuff.
Was it?
I haven't really done sort of, I've done a few bits and pieces, but I haven't really done much acting. Like, I actually find...
Could you?
Well, here's the thing, I find self-tapes quite difficult, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't know how this is with you guys. I'll find a self-tape of some really basic acting difficult, but at the same time, I'll be able to 100% step into and embody this character that I've worked on for years and be utterly convincing. So I don't know if it's a mental block with me or if it's just very specific about getting into one singular identity and just getting really comfortable with that.
I think it's the fun. It's the play, isn't it? It's finding where you can actually. It's all playing. It's all a game, and it's finding when you find that thing that absolutely works. It's not a job. It's not. It's you go in and you just like I'm doing a kids show for the first time with Marcel.
Now why? He's like the least. God, who would leave their kids with Marcel?
Exactly, but that was the game. It's like someone. I used to do comedy club for kids as me, and that was great. And then someone went, "Do it as Marcel." I was like, "I can't do that. There's no way I can do that." And then I said to myself, "How could I do that?
Yeah.
And where's the fun in that?" And you take away the swearing, you take away the sex references. You got the funny accent. You got the funny accent and the attitude. It's basically like a pantomime villain.
Yes.
Which kids love, and kids love to be dissed and love to be put
insulted.
down.
Yeah,
insulted, and try and get one over as well. Yeah. Which they do regularly. And there's the game, because how do I react to that? And it's finding the level. Like the first show of that, a kid was crying in the first 5 minutes. Not through my fault, I might add.
Really?
Maybe.
But it is that thing of the when kids interact with other kids, there's very little filter there.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to go, oh, you're funny, you're bold. Whereas an adult would go, gosh, I wonder if it's alopecia or whether he gets a very expensive #1 buzz cut. But kids will just go, can I feel your head?
Yeah.
And Marcel, for very different reasons, he's kind of like, he can't be arsed with anybody enough to be nice to them.
Totally, yeah. And it's what kids kind of aspire to, while keeping one eye on the parents. Like, are we allowed to do that? Are we allowed to not have that insouciance?
And because you've fathered a...
I've got 2 of them.
Crikey,
I know.
busy.
I'm knackered. Thanks for getting me today. I had a good night's sleep last night.
Did that have anything to do with you wanting to do, or doing the comedy for kids?
No, I don't think it did. I was doing that before I had kids, but now I get this insight into their world as well. I think that's probably propelled me to And this was I don't care how sentimental I sound here. I did a preview of my kids show at a festival, a family-friendly festival, And little Ronnie came to see it, 4 years old, came to see it for the first time. I was like, is he going to get involved? Is he going to run to the front and go, Dada, and ruin it like an idiot? is he going to like be bored of it and just wander off into the woods somewhere? Whatever, I had no idea. And he sat there, he didn't get involved, he didn't get up as one of the contestants, but he sat there with a huge grin on his little face. Yeah. And then afterwards, just looked me in the eye, and just gave me a huge hug, as if to go, oh, you're not shit, Dad. Well done.
Excellent.
But just, and it was, honestly, it was the most rewarding thing I think I've ever done in comedy.
That's better than 5 stars.
So 5 stars.
And does he understand that it's Daddy with a funny voice?
He got it, like, really early on. In lockdown, I was doing loads of online gigs, and I'd have to set up the camera, I'd have to slick the hair, I'd have to put a suit on, and he'd just go, Marcel.
Oh, how cool.
And he got it like that. You're being someone else. Yeah.
Do you have kids?
I do, yes. Yeah.
What do they think of Mad Ron?
Yeah.
My daughter's just, she's over the moon with it. She's quite proud. She's sort of bragging rights with her friends. But yeah, my son's a bit indifferent. He just,
oh, right, okay.
All right, yeah. I think he's secretly quite
But it's
pleasing.
because it's, I mean, they kind of all are not known, but they're, you only have to meet them for 2.5 seconds to go, And then, as you were saying, the more you can surprise people, because you go, oh yeah, it's so much of time, bit mental, blah, blah. And then you go, no, actually, I didn't vote for Brexit, you know, to surprise.
Yeah.
I've been thrilled, delighted, appalled, wildly entertained by Marcel, but I've never, you know, maybe one of the shows you'll show his soft side.
Nah. It's not what the people want. Although there you go, yeah, flip it.
Yeah. And Troy could have an intellectual element.
I mean, have you seen any of my last couple of shows?
You've seen what this man can do with Scrabble tiles?
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Tell me more. I feel ashamed.
I mean,
slightly embarrassed.
I mean, it's a long. I don't quite know where to start.
Right.
All right, so basically, essentially, as being whatever Troy looks like on the outside, he's also a Scrabble-based investigator who uses the numerical values of Scrabble tiles to calculate theories, right? So, because he's very anti-elitist, for the good of the people, to bring down the people. So it's a system he sets up. So for instance, Kate, you're worth 8 in Scrabble, right? So he'd have a value for 8s. 8s are fun-loving, rambunctious, can be a bit much sometimes, but generally worth it. So, Alexis, you'd be a 15, right? 111511, which is the same as Fred West. So I would put you in that category. 41124111.
X only 5.
X is 8.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So basically, he's got this whole system that basically proves any theory that he wants to be proved, and keeps himself in control of his environment all the time. So now I've taken that concept, which I brought from conspiracy theories, to psychotherapy based on my own background training as a psychotherapist. So I guess you could say I've gone a little bit intellectual with Troy.
There's your answer.
Yeah. But and how do that? Just finally, how do people? Because a lot of people get seen, you go click on, even PRs saying, oh, here he is on YouTube, here he is on TikTok, here he is on, I don't know, Grindr.
Did you put it wrong for that one?
And so they're going to see Troy helping people into stores and doing
online,
the online stuff on the interweb, as people of my generation call it. I still don't trust it or anything I see there. So do you ever get people going, I'm a bit like that, she's very pretty, bloody hell, she can think.
It is a lot of the people that are coming in from the videos, there is a low bar. I've even got a bit at the beginning of the show that I've been touring where it's like, did you think you were going to get greeted for an hour? And people are like, we didn't know. We might have been. So it's quite nice having that bar.
Yeah.
And then them come in and realise that I've actually been doing stand-up for a long time, and the show's very crafted and very honed and is a sort of a finished piece kind of thing. So that's been nice, yeah.
Wow. I mean, even in the back of your mind, is there, son of Troy or sister of Troy? Are there any other characters bubbling under?
With me, in me? Not at the moment. I wouldn't write it out. I wouldn't write it off. But if I was going to do something else after this, it would be the polar opposite. It would be Mad Ron's mate. Mad Ron's scouse mate. Mad Dave.
See, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
You're massive in Liverpool, aren't you?
Yeah, the Liverpool thing's
love you in
nuts.
Liverpool.
I love it. I love the scouts. Love those people.
Would you ever, I mean, are we ever going to get a Spanish Marcel?
Marcel.
Marcel.
Yeah, maybe. To be honest, I'm just really enjoying doing Marcel at the moment. I've got some nice ideas, some online ideas that I'm sort of working on. He's sort of, weirdly, I put him on TikTok and he just went like that. I was having slated TikTok a bit and kind of, it's not for me, I'm 43. I'll put him on there and people really took to him. And so I've got some nice little sort of web series ideas.
And is Alexis going to do another show sometime?
Possibly. I've got so many little ideas bubbling under that I never, they never come to fruition, mainly because I've got 2 kids.
So yeah, good point.
Alexis isn't worth 15, so it's not Fred West.
Yeah.
Alexis is worth 13, 111811, but 13 is the same as Nazi and Knobhead.
There you go, new character, Nazi knobhead character coming right up.
Guest having a meltdown. And Mad Ron, well, I mean, you've just started, so it's all new and exciting and sparkly and wonderful.
Yeah, well, I do have another character I mess around with called Regimental, or Regimental, so he's like a military character, and but I kind of use that to write with, to be honest.
Okay.
I get into the mindset of the character, and then write, and then try and transfer the stuff over to Mad Ron. Anything I can't use, I just muck around with.
You've got a middleman, can't you?
That's great. Okay, so he's got voices in his head telling him what to write.
Basically.
So this is the point at which, I work out, I've got scorecards here, whether you've been entertaining enough for me to make it worthwhile to allow you to plug your show. Obviously, if you've been a bit dull, why would anyone go and see your show? However, I think you've been absolutely fascinating. So where, when, what, how long for?
I'm on at 7 o'clock in the Jersey Room in the Underbelly, but I'm sold out. The whole run's sold out. And the extra show is sold out as well. But there's going to be more in the last week. So
we haven't even started the...
That's mental.
Do you two feel... lesser?
Rage.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No.
Good on him.
What is the point when Troy's here hoovering up everybody's audiences?
Well, listen, I've sat here in previous fringes while Marcel's like hoovered up awards.
But that is phenomenal.
Sold out runs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fits and starts, and it's
but that's
one day and
it
another
must
day.
feel incredible.
Oh, it does. It's a head scratcher because I'm coming up to Edinburgh, and it's the first 2 days where. Situationally specific memory, emotional state, you're used to being stressed all over the place. And I'm kind of I've got nothing to be stressed about, and it's odd, and I don't quite know what to do with myself because I'm used to that nervous energy, which isn't there now.
Well, we will, I'll be interested to see what you do with all the nervous energy. There could be another character bubbling.
Who knows?
Marcel, well, you've got...
Not currently sold out, but
well, get
aspirations.
He will be. He will be.
No,
I tell you what, he's probably got queues for, at the door for hopefuls.
I know which,
Yeah, go and flyer his queue.
That's it, I know which queue to go to. So I'm doing Marcel Chat Show, 6:30 every day. Well, first 2 weeks. I'm only doing 2 weeks, then family holiday. There we go, see ya. Nice. Yeah.
Oh, so the minute they have kids, it all falls
I know, I'm feeling as elated as as a sold out run. And the kids show is 1 p.m. every day as well. And then I'm doing a best of as well at Monkey Barrel on the 9th of August.
Cool.
Late
And
night.
where are the kids shows and the chat shows?
Kids show Gilded Balloon, chat show Just a Tonic, and best of is at Monkey Barrel. So I'm
you're
spreading myself around, as Marcel should.
Ron.
Yeah, so I've sold out 1 row. So there's still another 10 rows to go.
Again, fire his cues.
Yeah, and so I'm in Mash House Snifter Room with Just a Tonic.
Nice. I love the Mash House.
Nice.
Awesome venue.
That's at 8:35.
So
and for the
people
full run.
Wonderful. Yeah. And so you drink readily on hand. No, I mean for the punters, not for you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kate. Welcome.
It's a pleasant surprise to find out that, the people behind the people are fun to be with.
At this stage of the festival.
Yeah.
At this stage, me, I'll be a wreck a week from now.